Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to That Infernal Noise, now part of the Mental Health News Radio Network.
I've been pushing for the greatest, here to stay and I ain't trying to be the latest. I've been winning, got me feeling so amazing, and I'm out to kill this game like I'm a shooter out in Vegas. Yeah, better back before you go goose. I've been tying up ends, none of those loose. That means I'm hanging everybody that's a strong loose. You trying to stop my shit, well then you're fucking with the wrong dude. I'm the one doing the most amongst peers, with the bottle and the gun, possibly a beer. Stone cold as I sell them every gear. Houdini, cause I am here, but I'm watching them disappear. Troubleshooting, we ain't talking about computers. Still a king and we ain't talking Martin Luther. Got my middles up and ready to salute ya. You wanna win this game, well then you better find the shooters. You ain't even get the point, I'm the center of the universe, still making them remember. Bitch, I'm colder than the Rockies in December. Total package when I enter, won't return me back to sender. So you better think before you act foul. Matter of fact, you need to really back down, cause it's doper than a fucking crack house. I don't wanna hear that fucking garbage from your trash mouth. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. Grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. I am grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. Yeah, because I'm feeling myself. Grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. Grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. I am grabbing on my dick because I'm feeling myself. Let's go. You don't wanna battle, I am not the one. In a fucking minute, all y'all will be done. Looking at a rocket, I am shooting up. Middles to the masses, I don't give a fuck.
God, I love that song. Big shout out to my homeboy Claas. That track is Feeling Myself. If you haven't done so yet, follow him on all social media at I am Claas. And if you haven't picked up his new album, bundle, and all that good shit, please go to gorehop.com and pick that shit up, because it is dope as fuck. Now on with the show. Today is February 2nd. It is my 38th birthday. I feel old as shit. I have a lot on my mind. I have a lot that I'm planning to accomplish in this next year. The new intro track was done by my homeboy Claas. It's called Feeling Myself, and I told him that basically turned into my personal anthem recently, because I have a big problem with self-confidence, like I'm sure a lot of people do. And I see him just supremely confident, swag the fuck out, like the whole 9 yards. And it really inspires me, because I've been unsure of myself for so long. It's really cool to see somebody my age that not necessarily doesn't deal with that, but is able to deal with it in a different way, and has been able to deal with it for however long. At some point, I am going to have him on the podcast, because I do want to pick his brain and understand his mindset whenever it comes to confidence and all that stuff. I didn't know what 38 was going to look like whenever I was a kid, whatsoever. I thought I did. I thought it was going to be old as shit, and I feel old as shit, but I also don't feel like a parent. I don't feel like I'm an adult. I still feel like a little kid at times. And not that it's bad. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people deal with that same feeling. Is like, how the hell did we get here? But over the course of the pandemic and COVID and whatever else, I had to figure out a lot of things, like a lot of people did. And in that process, I realized that the day-to-day drudgery that we've been told is what life is, and you do it till you die. That's not where my mindset is. That's not where I feel like I could be accomplishing something. I could be giving back to the world or whatever. And it's not an indictment on the company itself. It's an indictment of the right thing to do, quote unquote, what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your family and provide and yada, yada, yada. And I do, and I don't mind that. I mind that environment is not conducive to my mental health. And I'm not planning on quitting or anything. I'm just planning to enrich my life. The plan right now has already been set in motion. I don't like talking about things before they get moving because, I don't know, I guess it's just part of that upbringing where I don't want to jinx it or something like that. But for the first time in my life, and it took 38 years, I'm confident in myself. I'm looking forward to the future. Niche got a job. She started yesterday. And that was the first piece of the puzzle for the preparation of me going back to school in the fall. I know I shouldn't have waited as long as I did. But coming straight out of high school, having your girlfriend pregnant, you kind of have to make sacrifices. And I realize I've sacrificed my entire life for my kids, for the quote-unquote greater good, whatever. And I do not regret it. I'd do it all over again the exact same way. But now I find myself at an impasse, and I'm having to reevaluate everything I think mentally about myself, about the world, about parenting, relationships, whatever. And it's not bad. I do like to challenge myself. I do like to be presented contrarian points of view to my own in order to evolve my way of thinking. It is a challenge sometimes because, especially growing up the way I did, you're not supposed to challenge authority. You're not supposed to think outside the box and stuff like that. And if you are, you're usually ostracized and made to feel like you're less than. And again, for the first time in my life, I feel supremely confident. I feel like there's nothing I can't accomplish. I feel like there's nothing I can't do. Because I know that whatever I'm dealing with, whatever negative shit I'm dealing with isn't forever. And this is the first time I've thought that in my life. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing, actually. Niche and I's relationship has improved dramatically from where we were 6 months to a year ago. Chris is getting ready to graduate. Kaylee, Jesus, she's just smart as a whip. Noe, Logan, they're all just killing it. And they're growing into people that I want to be around. Personally. Like, remove the fact that they're my kids. I enjoy being around my children because of their personalities and because how unique they are. And that may sound lame, but my kids are some of my best friends. And I want them to have something to be proud of whenever it comes to their dad. And I know they probably are, in general. But I want them to look and have that shining example to look back on and be like, you know what? Dad did that. That was something he wanted to do. It was something that he's looking forward to, however, whatever. And I want them to see that I did it and finished it. So like I said, I'm planning on going back to school. And my goal, by the end of it, going through associates, bachelor's, master's, is to be a licensed marriage and family therapist. I know that sounds lofty, or however you want to put it, but I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I have a certain gift for gab. I feel like I'm a good listener. I feel like I have good advice, and I've seen a lot of the world. Not in the aspect that I've traveled a lot, but in the aspect that I've seen a lot. Through my own experiences, through people around me's experiences, and all that. I have a different mindset than most people. I tend to be a little bit more accepting. I tend to be a little bit more understanding. And since I started therapy almost a year ago, my empathy has only increased. And my understanding of why I react the way that I do has gone through the roof. And my entire mindset has changed. Because those that know me a few years back, I was staunchly against it. I was staunchly against therapy and medication and all of that stuff because I felt like how most of us were raised. Suck it up, pussy. You got to figure out your own way around it. Otherwise, you're never going to get any better, whatever. And in the process of all that, in the process of the growing and the learning, etc., I figured out that that's not true. It's exactly the opposite. Sometimes you do need that. Sometimes you do need that release valve. Sometimes you just need to vent. And a lot of us don't do that, myself included. I've gotten better about it, but I still default to holding things in and not letting it out, not expressing myself out of fear of judgment or ostracization or whatever it is. I still have that base fear because that's how I was conditioned for the first 37 years of my life. I'm looking forward to breaking those habits. I'm looking forward to continuing to grow and continuing to understand my mindset and in turn understand the world better, hopefully. And I really want to make my mark, not in some grandiose way anymore. You know, I don't want to be known worldwide or anything like that. I want to legitimately help people. And I've talked to my wife about it. I've talked to my ex-wife about it. I've talked to, well, she's one of my best friends. And I've talked to her husband, who is one of my best friends too. And the consensus was all the same. It's like you've always tried to take care of everybody, and I think that would be a really good avenue for you to go down, to feel fulfilled and not feel like it's just the everyday bullshit that not everybody, but most people deal with on a daily basis, and they hate it. And I've been at points in my life where I did hate it. Like, I enjoy my job. I enjoy the company that I work for. I enjoy the people that I work with for the most part. Sometimes they annoy the shit out of me, but I'm sure I annoy the shit out of everybody else too, because I know my personality can be abrasive sometimes. But the point I'm at now in my life, I feel like there's more to it. I feel like I should be accomplishing more. I should be doing more. And I'm not content to just sit idly by anymore. I feel like I need to accomplish something for myself. And I haven't thought of myself in almost 18 years. Because I've always thought of the kids first. I've always thought of wife first. Whatever the situation. I've always put everybody else before myself. And I'm not saying I'm going to shirk all my responsibilities and only focus on myself or anything like that. Because that's definitely not going to happen if you know me. I'm just getting back to the point where I'm feeling myself. Thanks, Nick. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being happy and content with myself and doing things in order to make that feeling grow. You know, whenever I was younger, I used to look for that in drugs or alcohol or various females. But there was always something missing. You know, I had like a hole that just couldn't be filled. Haha, yeah, I know. And the more I've thought about it, and the more I've soul searched and tried to understand myself on a deeper level, the more I realized that the thing that is missing is that contentment. It's that desire to help not being fulfilled. It's myself not being fulfilled because I feel like I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. I feel like I'm a cog in the machine. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing. But for me personally, I need to be challenged. I need to have some kind of stimulation. Some kind of something to drive me, and the missing piece is helping. You know, I talked to my boss, who's one of my best friends, and she echoed the same sentiment that my circle did. She was saying that I think that's a good path for you to go down. Knowing you, knowing your personality. There's not a lot of people that are... There's not enough people like us, quote unquote, that have been through some shit that want to go into the therapy field. And there should be more. And now that the stigma of mental health has kind of been lifted, and people are more openly talking about what's going on inside their head or their insecurities or whatever, I think now's the time. And even if that stigma hadn't been lifted, I still think that it would be the time for me. Because I'm to a point where I don't worry about judgment anymore. I don't worry about people's perception of me. You know, I don't give a shit about being the cool guy that everyone wants to hang out with. I'm true to myself. I don't worry about, oh, am I going to be the lame one because I don't drink or because I have certain opinions about certain things and people. That doesn't concern me anymore. For the past year, I've only been doing things that I feel like I need to do. And then if I'm not feeling it, I don't do it. And I'm sure that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but it is what it is to me. You know, why continue down a path that I haven't felt a connection to in God knows how long? I don't mind being the overly emotional one. I don't mind being the heart on my sleeve guy anymore. It used to be a running gag, and I mean, it still is with my close friends, but it used to bother me. It used to upset me. You know, like, well, what the fuck? And I used to try to hide that part of myself because I guess it's a fear of ridicule or whatever it may be. And now I'm over that. I express myself when I feel I need to. You know, if I get the urge to just hit up one of my homeboys and be like, yo, dude, I just want to say, I appreciate you. I'm happy that you're in my life. I love you, whatever. I don't worry about getting made fun of anymore. And it's not like they give a shit for real. They bust my balls because that's what we all do. I do it too. And it's not like they're doing anything to be malicious or any shit like that. Well, I hope not. I mean, it might be. I don't know. My friends are kind of dicks. But ultimately, I'm confident in myself. Ultimately, I have this renewed sense of drive and motivation that I have not seen in years. And I'm trying to take steps every single day to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. And I don't know that I've ever done that. Not this consistently. And yeah, I have the fear that I'm going to do what I've done with so many other things and get super excited and jump into it both feet and then burn out and end up not seeing it through. That's a legit fear of mine. But like my wife said, she's a smart cookie. Well, you're cognizant of it now. So maybe you just being cognizant of it and having it in the forefront of your mind right now will enable you to not let yourself quit. And she has all the faith in me in the world. And given the past 2 years, that's surprising. It's nice to have a support system. It's nice to have somebody to have your back 100%. I was talking with my therapist about that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Because as soon as I told Niche what I wanted to do and what I was thinking, even though I felt like it was another flight of fancy or grandiose idea, she still had my back. Like 100% had my back. She started talking me through it and said, okay, we're going to need to do this, this, and this. And we've had nonstop conversations since that day. And I can't remember if it was that day or the next day, but as soon as I said it, within 24 hours at least, she was already looking for jobs. Because I don't know if it was because she saw how serious I was, or because she just knew that that's what needed to happen. Either way, that's the relationship we have now. I'd drop anything for her. She'd drop anything for me. We'd shake up our entire lives for each other over and over again, like we have for a decade. And we do it every time. Because after all the shit we've been through, after the negative start to our relationship, the circumstances, not our relationship in general, and then everything we've had to deal with since then, we've made it through. And she has taken the reins and is trying to help me figure out the logistics and the practicality of everything that I want to do. And you know, our thing is to hell and back. And we've said that for years. Our entire relationship. And it's not, oh, I'd go to hell for you or anything like that. It's, I will deal with hell because I know I got you. I know that no matter what, we're good. And that has driven me so much recently, especially seeing her reaction whenever I told her that this is what I wanted to do. This is my new year. I know everybody's like, well, New Year's was a month ago. Okay, fine. But I don't really give a shit about New Year's. New Year's Day. My new year always starts on my birthday, which is today. And it's a new year. And as cliche as it sounds, it's a new me. I've found my drive. I've found my motivation. I found my purpose. Everything feels right now. And I haven't always been able to say that. I'm immensely looking forward to the future. And I'm going to use this podcast to chronicle my journey, as it were. Obviously still discussing the mental health aspects of it, because I feel that's the most important thing. And not just the highs, but the lows too. And not just the highs and the lows, but those meh days. Because not only do I want to share that with everybody, I want to have a record of it and be able to go back myself and see what I did whenever I had those negative or mad days. What did I do in that next week? How did I bring myself out of it? Because this is a learning process for me. I've gotten a lot of good advice from a lot of people regarding all of this. And the biggest piece of it was Don't look at the mountain. Look at each step. And that is really sticking with me right now. Because I look at the insurmountable mountain whenever I'm going to do something and it overwhelms me. Now, I'm looking at each thing step by step. Okay, I have to do this first. Okay, this is next. This is next. And I'm taking my time so I can do this right. Because I want this. And I'm putting it out here. So I'm held accountable. I'm held accountable to myself. I'm held accountable to my wife, my kids, my friends, whoever. I'm putting it into the ether. I'm not going to try. And I know I'm a Star Wars nerd, but there is no try for me. It's do or do not. And I'm going to do. I hope everybody has an amazing week. And I hope you're all good to each other. But most importantly, be good to yourself. Later.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you like the show or know somebody who would, please subscribe and share to help us grow the show. You can follow us on all socials at That Infernal NPC. You can listen on YouTube and Podbean at That Infernal Noise or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.